thanks for watching Which Word Weekly. I'm your host, Gretta Pastukh. The Way of the Tushui are hosting 2 separate events every single week. On Saturday at 5 p.m., behind the cathedral, they're hosting a story circle, where you can come and share your thoughts and stories and listen to other people's from all walks of life. Every Friday night, they host a sparring ring that is held at the Druid Trainer in Stormwind at 5 p.m. Alliston Groveton and House Rasksmell will be hosting a ball October 27th at the Heroes Rest in Dalaran. The time is to be announced, so be watching hopefully for next Wednesday. I'll know the time for that, and I will advertise again. There will be food, games, prizes, and dancing. Be sure to come in costume, and if you would like more information, contact Alistine, Baron, or Viranosi. Northfall Protectorate is hosting a social event Saturday, October 26th from 5 to 8 p.m. All are welcome. A group of town criers will escort you to the ball from all major alliance cities. The location is not revealed. Costume contest, fireworks show, dancing, food, and refreshments will be served. It sounds like a good time for all. Head on over there, 5 to 8 p.m. Be in one of the capital cities so that you can be escorted to this event by one of the town criers. I'd like to talk about the first event that I went to for Hallows Eve. It was a ghost walk, and it started in the bridge between Westfall and Duskwood, which I actually came a little bit late, I'm embarrassed to admit, but I got a little bit lost on the way. I don't have the best sense of directions, so when I finally found the bridge, there was nobody there. Luckily, I had my horse, and so I rode up and found the group. And unfortunately, I had nowhere to put my horse, so I ended up riding it the whole time, which was a little bit awkward for me because everybody else was walking. So, anyways, it was an extremely fun time. There were actually ghosts that popped out. We learned a little bit about Karazhan and the haunted spirit that was drunk was extremely amusing to me. That was actually one of my favorite parts, was this drunken spirit that came out and was flirting with a couple of the men in the group. So that was very interesting. Then there was a Tauren ghost that popped out and was afraid of plants. That was very odd but entertaining. And then another headless ghost that came out at the end and wanted people to go to work for her on the farm and threatened to chop their heads off and put it above the mantle. So that was kind of awkward. My horse was really spooked by that one. It was really a great time. We ended it in Darkshire, and at the very end there was a Death Knight dwarf person that summoned an army of the dead and just spooked everybody. So it was all around a good time. If you missed this ghost walk, I would definitely recommend going to the next one. If you need any more information on the Ghost Walk or any of the other Embassy Accord 13 Days of Halloween events, please contact one of their officers at any time. You can see them running around. They have red tabards with a white symbol. And yeah, the event, really fun. Make sure you catch at least one of their events in the next few days before Hallows Eve ends. I found Reverend Lighton Overlock on the steps of the cathedral. Actually, he was just coming out. He is a priest of the light, and he became a priest by the influence of his father many years ago. He does not believe that there was a singular moment when he discovered that he wanted to be a priest, but rather he was conditioned for priesthood from the moment he was born. He says the most rewarding aspects of being a priest are the relation that one has to the light. He feels bathed in its glory and is truly honored to wield it as a blade and as a balm. There is an immense feeling of pride that one gets from being seen as a sort of spiritual leader. He feels as though he is a shepherd of a great flock whom he leads away from the darkness and into the warm embrace of the light. He said it pains him that he is currently unable to hold sermons as he is occupied with other affairs. He is currently a member of the Order of Goldrin, whom we featured a couple episodes back in the Guild featured episode, and he is part of the House Set, which again are the Spellcasters and the Knowledge Seekers House. The Order of Goldrin is currently accepting new members, so if you are Gilnean, Worgen, or non-afflicted, contact one of their members. Again, everybody I've talked to from the Order of Goldrin has been super amazing. Every one of them informative, happy to talk to me, just really nice people. Anyways, back to the Reverend. He says he is not married and that the light has been his companion and that he needs no other. His favorite color is the dark blue of his homeland, Gilneas. I found Vian as Scanlon Van Shiel, looking quite beat up and sitting alone by himself on the bridge between the Mage District and the Trade District of Stormwind, and I decided to interview him. He says that he leads a crew who owns the ship the Bloody Dawn, and that they are a fine lot and a bit unruly at times. They have a shop in the Hall of Mysteries in Ironforge where they sell artifacts and other things like that. The Bloody Dawn used to be a pirate ship, but the captain left a long time ago, and things changed. After the captain left, things were falling apart, and Vian had to take over. He's had a bit of a rough time these last few years, and it showed him something important, that he couldn't keep a group of pirates running with his mind being as it was. And he says that his mind is better now, because someone had told him that his wife was dead, but he recently found out that she was alive. And as if on cue, she approached us from the shadows. She basically stepped out of nowhere, and she was with another one of his, not crewmates, but one of his best friends. He says that the crew is always seeking more members. In his spare time, he tries to avoid getting shot or hunted down by the increasing population of people that hate him. At this point, he pulls Vesta in front of him. He's seemed a little shy during the entire interview, so it was a little bit interesting, and it was a 2-for-1 deal for me, so Vesta starts answering some of the questions instead. And Vesta, her full name is Vesta de Lycaon Van Chelion. I don't think I'm saying that right, and I'm very sorry, I apologize. She and Vian have been together for 2 years. They have 2 children, and in their spare time, they try to avoid trouble and they drink. Vesta enjoys cooking in her spare time, while Vian enjoys jumping from cliffs in Stranglethorn with his buddies. I was a little perplexed at that one too, but he seemed like a really good guy. He's super fun to talk to. Vesta usually remains home with her 2 children and neglects a professional career, which I thought was very admirable that she was trying to better her children. She does enjoy reading and writing, and both of their favorite colors are red. Radzi Miers Valiende, or Rads, was a Draenei that I found in the Blue Recluse. He recognized me from the show, so that was pretty exciting. He didn't know my name, but he did recognize my voice, so that was pretty cool. He is an engineer and a hired hand to help kill things, which he does for free, so he's not really hired. He just likes to help people. He's very peppy and upbeat and super positive. He's part of the group The Way of the Tushui, and they are the ones that host the story circle at the gazebo behind the cathedral every Saturday night at 5 p.m. They usually get up to about 9 or 10 stories every week. And he enticed me by telling me that he could tell a story in just 4 words. And when I asked him to elaborate this, he says, "I am a Death Knight." And this actually came as a shock to me, since he was dressed as a paladin would be, and his attitude was quite different from most Death Knights I've encountered. Again, he was very, very happy. And he explains that it was not a costume, because I did ask if it was a paladin costume for the holidays. It is actually his usual wear. He doesn't like the dark aspect of being a Death Knight. He thinks it's pointless, and he likes how his armor looks on him, and he's proud of it. People are more trusting of him with the way that he dresses. The dark aspect of being a Death Knight is pointless to him because people expect it of Death Knights. He doesn't adhere to the notion because he likes to look on the bright side of things. He says that his mate is the reason he is able to keep such a positive outlook. He says that he keeps him stable and smiling. And on a side note, he fights with tankards. He doesn't fight with swords or maces. He actually has 2 Piersteins that he bashes people's heads in with, I guess. It was quite interesting. His favorite colors are green and red. He had a really hard time narrowing it down, and he couldn't narrow it down to just one. So green and red. Green because it represents life, and red for fire, which he believes is his element. This week's poll question was, what is your favorite thing about Stormwind? The first couple ladies I asked were in the cathedral. One says the lake behind the cathedral is her favorite thing about the Stormwind, and the other lady says the lack of attention the guards give people so that she can get away with whatever she wants. Another person says that the idiotic people that populate it, and another gnome says the lack of power-hungry morons that would irradiate the city, and I am believed to think she was talking about Gnomeregan. Another person says the harbor and the views, the firing range, and the training facilities. A human male says the whores. Another person says that it's home, kinda. The graveyard, nice and quiet and serene. Another person, a Pandaren, says that the park district, because she would have loved to have seen it. She's only seen pictures and she thought it would seem quite beautiful. Another person says the people, and another Trinai female says that she couldn't tell me what her favorite thing was. And the last person that I asked said the Blue Recluse was their favorite thing about Stormwind. I'd also like to remind everybody that Witchword Weekly is still hiring. I am still the sole person in charge of doing all these videos, the interviews, the pictures, everything. So if you have any engineer skills, if you enjoy talking to people, if you want to just be my assistant and help me find people for interviews, any of these positions are open, and please find me. I'm usually wandering around the canals, and especially the Blue Recluse. And actually, to answer that earlier poll question, in case people are wondering, my favorite part of Stormwind is the Blue Recluse as well. A person that I met yesterday, Jay Owen, actually coaxed me to maybe reveal a little bit more about myself. So, the next episode, if you're wondering things about Gretta Pastukh, please let me know your questions, mail them to me, let me know on the streets, and I'll actually do an interview about myself. So, thanks again, and a shout out to him. Gretta Pastukh, signing off.